Okay, the day's come. I need to replace my power antenna mast. The cable is broken inside, so all it does is just keeps turning. I could hear the motor going, but the antenna mast doesn't go up or down. It's just stuck in that position, so we're going to fix that today. First thing we want to do is we're going to have to remove this panel right here, starting with these bolts or these clips that go across the top, and then we're going to want to take off this clip and this clip so we can move this out of the way. And then when we lift the carpet, we'll remove this jack cover and we can see the antenna right there. So it should be pretty easy process. And then we need to take off this crown nut right here, which holds the antenna onto the body of the car. And there's one bolt down inside here that we'll be able to see. Actually, we can see it right there. That one bolt will release the antenna from the body. Now that I've taken the caps off the panels here, it exposed the Phillips screws that are in there. There's one here, one over here, and a couple back there which we may not need to take off. And then we need to do this one here and this one right here, and we'll be able to access the whole antenna assembly that's inside down there. Okay, now that I got the side panel removed over here, we could see everything that we need to work on here. So we just need to get this one bolt off down here at the bottom. We need to unplug the antenna here and here. And like I said before, this crown needs to come off and then we could remove it. I may end up having to break this antenna pull off so we could slide it down underneath, otherwise this isn't going to be able to go down inside. Okay, so there's also a drain tube down here that needs to be pulled off the bottom of the antenna. That's what keeps the water, when it comes down the antenna mast into here, it drains out the bottom of the car. So make sure you unplug that tube before yanking and damaging it. Okay, so for sure I'm gonna have to break the antenna mast off probably right around here, just so I could remove the whole thing down below, because this isn't gonna stay. Oh, that kills me to do. And it should pull up the whole cable that's broken in there. So there's the cable right there. Alright, there's our broken piece. So this cable should be a lot longer than that. That's it. Now I could probably push this down pretty far. And now I should be able to pull the antenna out once I remove this bolt. Once we unscrew this, that comes off. This will slide off the body, and that'll leave the top of the antenna loose. So now when we take that bolt off the bottom, it'll just come right out. Okay, now that this bolt is removed, we should be able to just move this out and somehow get this thing down out of the way. We gotta pull these cables out of here. It's hard to do with one hand, but oh, looks like we gotta unplug this too. That's the antenna to the radio. So that's undone. That's it. Antenna is out. Now I need to open up this unit, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, probably just those 4. and that'll open it up so I can get to the broken cable that's inside and remove it. That way when I insert the new cable, it'll wind itself down and lock into place. Okay, so aside from the 4 screws that had to come off from the outsides here, this nut had to come off too. So once those are done, this thing's on there pretty good. It's got some kind of sealant to hold it on, but you could put a screwdriver right here and just kind of pry back. That lifts up this cover. A little bit gooey, so make sure you have rags so you don't get dirty. This piece right here is what houses the cable, and there's the broken piece of the cable right here. So that's where it broke off the pole that I just snapped. So you can take the cable out, and then you're going to put this back inside like we just took it out. It's easier if this job's done with 2 hands, but I'm going to accomplish it with 1 hand. And just put this guy back on. Make sure everything's lined up right. So these holes need to all match up. Make sure that you put this cable right here back down here, and then there's 2 metal brackets that go across, which I took off a bit ago, but here's one of them right here. That one goes along the bottom. Okay, and then I'll get to putting the antenna in and winding it in a second. Okay, we're all put back together, all the screws, nuts, make sure everything's tightened. That cable's going to sit back there. That one's just going to plug there. Now we just need to go and put everything back in to its spot. Let's see how we did this a second ago. Okay. So I want to make sure this comes out this spot here. It's only going to go one way, so that goes up, that goes into that spot, and we just got to make sure that that number 10mm bolt bolts in. Okay, now that everything is plugged back in and locked down, make sure that you plugged, actually we get a light better, this plugged back in, this plugged back in, the antenna that goes from the radio to here, the cable, needs to be plugged in on the back side, which is actually this thing right here. And then don't forget the drain down here at the bottom, so the water will leak out the bottom of the car. And up here, you're not going to want to put the lock nut down until you install the antenna rod down in here. So once it locks into place, then you could put the cap on, and that holds the antenna into the assembly. Okay, so now to install it, usually you'll have to have 2 people, one to turn the radio off. So once it turns off, the motor will want to close itself down. Fortunately, I have auto start, so I could do it from my remote, and I don't need anybody else here to help me, hopefully. So first thing you want to do, get the car started, or turn the radio on. Mine's connected to the start. And then you're going to want to feed this down in here, like so. Okay, so I can feel it's going that way. So I'll wait till the motor stops turning, and then as soon as I turn this off, it's going to want to wind it down into the car. So you got to be careful, because it's going to want to do this kind of quick. It's just feeding itself down in there. Make sure that lines up. That's it. It's in there. It's done. Now all you got to do is put the gold. Actually, mine's gold, but you just got to put the cap back on it. Make sure you tighten that down too. Now you could test it by starting the car back up. Make sure the antenna goes up. That's it. Antenna's all the way up. Turn it off. Done. Thank you for watching.